let's get started today on, let's start talking about the art of focusing, right? And I didn't know if I wanted to share this or not today, but I'll go ahead and do it. There are these moments of life, and to piggyback on what Diane was saying, it's like, what do you really focus on, right? And just like this, your whole entire life can change. And then not only have you been not focusing or focusing on the dog shit, but you realize how much time that really stole from you. So on Friday night, I was coming home from the Hamptons, right? I'd worked with a client on site for a couple days. I was feeling great. It was a really unbelievable experience. And I'm driving home so I can put my kids to bed, right? As opposed to staying there and going back. So for you guys who know that are here on the East Coast, I'm going over the Throgs Neck Bridge. I'm in the right lane, and sometimes the traffic looks like it's flowing, and then all of a sudden it could come to a stop. And I start slowing down to stop, and before I knew it, a car behind me, their brakes completely went out. The car smashed into my rear end. My car starts swerving. I swerve up against, and I hit like whatever that guardrail thing was on the side. And just like that, right? The thing that was lucky for me is I decided impulsively to leave 3 hours earlier. And the only car they had was a 2021 7 Series BMW. If you know anything about cars, it's like a tank, right? So the thing absorbs so much of my impact. But the reality is, if I didn't have that car, and I had the other car that I was going to rent, I would have been hurt really bad, right? I'm still hurt. My back hurts, my neck hurts, I'm sore. But the reality is in that moment, what I realized and how it has to do with focus is, how much time do we spend focusing on the wrong things, right? All because we don't have clarity. And then in these moments, our life shifts, then now you have additional regret, right? You have regret on the things you didn't do, the connections you didn't have with people, the things that you wanted to do. So like when I talk about this today, I wanted to share my personal story with you guys, with the hope that you will focus a little better, that you will have a little more clarity. And I would say PPC, right? Productivity and profitability in all areas of your life are a direct result of clarity. So it really was good that this happened and I could share it with you guys, because I hope that hearing this will help you guys focus a little better, right? Will help you make more mindful decisions. And what Diane's, I would say, experience, right, is spot on. We can always find something to focus on. But why aren't we focused on ourselves, our business, our clients, and really getting things done and being productive? So let me pull this up, and we have a special surprise in our deck today, courtesy of Rachel. Oops. As you can see, there we go. Can everyone see my screen?
Click. Okay, I think cool. You click. I don't see any. We just see white.
All right, hold on. Share. Do you guys see it now?
We don't see the presenter mode. We just see the.
Okay. Yes, no?
White's, try clicking. We just know we see your presenter notes now. Sorry, guys.
This is so strange, but okay, let's try this. Wow.
Up, there we go. Just go back a couple slides.
So if we start here, it's like, hello and welcome to Movie Phone. So look, let's talk about the art of focusing, right? And focusing is a skill. It is a learned skill. We are not all born with the ability just to focus and really be present to what we're doing. But focus starts with clarity, right? If you're 100% clear on the mission, the vision of your business and what you need to do throughout your day, you can be productive and you can be focused in what you're doing. Now, let me give you an example. If we always tell you that you should spend a minimum of 45 minutes to an hour a day contacting people that you know to extend your relationship, because I can look on the screen, 90% of your businesses come from referrals. So why aren't we double down in that area? And everyone tells me all the time, Shrag, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Shrag, I'm so busy, I don't have time. Shrag, I'm so busy, I don't have time, right? And it comes down to this. Go look at the screen time section on your phone. You spend more than an hour a day on Instagram. You spend more than an hour a day doing hours in email, right? You spend time deleting emails that you don't like. You spend time opening and reading things because we're all inquisitive for information. That's not real clarity. The clarity is, and how you can focus is, this is the single most important thing I could do in my business. So if you have clarity on what you're doing, why you're doing it, and how you have to do it, you can then be focused, right? But if your days are spread like this, can you be focused? No, not at all, right? The second point on this, do you guys all hit yes or no? And let's be honest, there's 40 plus people here. How many people have clarity what they should do on an hour by hour basis in general as they start their day? I feel like Family Feud today. Survey says.
First responder Ali says no. Colleen, yes. Diane, you're kidding, right? Sort of. Greg says, Renee says no. Heidi, honest, unfortunately, no. A lot of no's. Marilda, sometimes, but mostly we got a lot of no's in here.
Good. Well, going forward, I want you guys to write this down for an action item. I want you guys to at least have focus on and clarity on two things. Number one, your morning routine, which we've talked about many times, right? Which is, in summary, things for yourself, right? Eating a healthy breakfast, doing some form of exercise, meditating, and or listening to positive audio, preferably both, right? Away from your emails, social media, and all that evil stuff that's just a vacuum suck of time, right? And then number two, start to build out your morning before 12 o'clock, right? AM, income producing, PM, income servicing, right? Rule number one of focus, do not start creating new things for today and tomorrow till you fulfilled your promises of yesterday. So if you promise someone that you're going to do something yesterday, don't start doing all this new stuff in your business till you fulfilled your promise. Because then, like, they're calling you, right? This is the clarity and focus I want you to get to. The clarity here is your clients call you all the time because you haven't sent them what they want, or they don't know when it's coming, and you tell them tomorrow, and tomorrow is not a time, right? Tomorrow is a 24-hour period. There's no clarity there, right? Start to get specific. Hey, Ali, I'll get that to you for tomorrow by 2 p.m. David, is that all right if we could have that discussion tomorrow before 3 p.m., right? Like, start getting specific, right? Have clarity on what you're going to do. If it's too much to even do 3 hours, do your morning routine, right? Because that's where your day starts. And then plan just 1 hour of your day and try to execute that at 90%. Fair? Why do you need clarity in your business? I'm interested to see, why do you guys need clarity? Let's see what you guys have to say.
Radio,
what do we got, Rachel?
Radio silence. Okay, here we go. Kimberly says to be more accomplished. Julia says to give team members a sense of ownership. Diane says to avoid mistakes.
Julia, I love you for giving the team members. Look, in the end, why do you need clarity in your business? Can you imagine if you guys showed up somewhere to do a job and no one told you what you had to do when you get there? Right? Like, if you're a client buying or selling a house, you're showing up, you're hiring someone to do a job, and then after they've hired you, they have no idea what's going to happen most of the time, right? For team members, right, Julia's spot on, is team members need clarity and structure. I know in all the coaching I do with teams and I talk to them, they don't know what's expected of them, right? If they don't have clarity, it feels like they're on quicksand and the targets are over moving and there's really no momentum over there, right? But again, if you don't have clarity in your business, what do you have, right? Do you have clarity on your numbers? Do you have clarity on your profit and loss? Like, I want everyone to write down 3 things that they would like clarity on, right? or just share one of the things you'd like clarity on in the chat box, right? I'm asking you guys continuously to keep sharing because we all do the same job, right? Just in different markets. Sharing this will help other people that are doing this for the first time think through this. So what areas would you like clarity on in your business that you currently don't have? I think we need to mute someone, Rachel.
I know.
So where's an area that you guys need clarity? What do we have?
Number of leads converted.
Okay. So if you have number of leads converted, the thing you need clarity on is how many leads do you have? How many conversations do you have with those leads? And how many turn into an appointment? And then how many turn into sale, right? If you have those numbers put together, then you could say for every 100 leads, I have 70 conversations that's led to 5 appointments that lead to 1 sale. Then it becomes a math game if you have clarity. If not, you just keep spending money and you're just existing, right? What else do we have, Rachel? Anybody else?
That was it. And Corey, we're actually going to be talking a little bit about that tomorrow. So make sure you tune in because we're going to go over who won our contest and actually the ratio of calls you need to make to sales you need to get. So make sure you guys tune in tomorrow.
For those of you who have not responded, anyone else?
Yeah, she says, I'm not sure what I need clarity on. It feels like everything right now. Girl, yeah.
So what you want clarity on is the first thing is, now I'll give you 3 things, right? Number 1, the thing that you need clarity on is your profit and loss in your business, right? You need to know how much money it costs to run your business, and you need to understand how much money you're actually making and start tracking it, right? This is really simple to do. Just hook your business up to a QuickBooks. Like, you have to categorize the thing. It does most of the heavy lifting for you, right? You need clarity on your numbers because you don't know what you're spending money on then, right? Number 2, you need clarity on where your business is really coming from. I can't tell you how many people tell me that they want to spend money on leads, and then I realize that their business doesn't have a lead problem, it has a servicing problem. They're completely over leveraged in the amount of time that they have in the business they're doing versus the staff that they have, right? Or lack of systems, right? So number 1, financial clarity. Number 2, clarity of where your business is coming from. Number 3, you know what you all really need clarity on is where you're wasting your time. What are the time sucks in your life, right? Without that, you really are missing the boat because you're not improving. Because you got to remember this, how many different things are stored in your brain at once, right? You're thinking about your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, family, clients, friends, past memory, pain, pleasure, goals. Like, it's all this stuff, right? So picture your thoughts and one thing in your head, like looking for a pebble in an ocean. So distractions is a pebble in an ocean. But here's the thing though, if you start taking these things out and looking at them individually, writing them down, thinking through them, and obsessing over them every day, you can get productive day by day by day. And in a month, you could be more productive than you've ever been in your life. 10x. And we'll go through doing that. And how do you get clarity, right? Clarity is the opposite of uncertainty, right? If you're uncertain, you don't know what's going on, right? There are too many agents that are just existing because they don't know what to focus on. They don't track anything. They don't know where to go. So every time, like, I know you guys all love that note section of your phone. Anytime you have that feeling of uncertainty, every time you hear something or you hear an agent talk about something great, and you're like, wow, I wish I had that in my business. Oh, I need to do that thing. Oh God, like, I just don't understand that. Write that stuff down, right? If you don't know what you're uncertain about and you just, again, it's flowing in the ocean in your brain, you have no opportunity for growth. Because when you're going to go try to find that thing or think about it, you're like, oh, what was that thing I found on that last Tuesday when I was on that walk and I went by that coffee shop? That's how people think, right? Like, you get lost in your thoughts. And you have to realize, like, it's like taking a file out of a filing cabinet. There's so many different things, right? If you don't pull the file out and put it to the top, you're never going to remember to look at it. That's how you get clarity. Look at the things that are uncertain in your life. And the other thing about how you get clarity is, what are your goals, right? When I sat there in the Hamptons doing this in-person training, I said to the team, I go, look, what are your goals, right? And we talked about what the goals were and we drew them all out. Then I'm like, what are you doing in a day, a week, and a month? And I kind of listened and I went through that exercise. And like I drew a line and I put it in half and I'm like, in alignment with your goals, not in alignment with your goals. And I ask them, I'm like, it's like a word bank, right? And start thinking about how you spend your day and what your goals really are, right? For all the people on here that have teams, a team is a group of people all going in one direction. Are you guys all even going in the same direction? David's famous quote is put any team in a room and ask them what the top 3 goals of the team are. If you find 2 people that have the same goals, you'll be shocked. Alignment, clarity, right? Now, let's talk about distractions. Ping, ding, ring. This thing right here will be the bane of all of our existence, right? The number one reason people aren't focused and don't have clarity and aren't as productive as they should is because they don't work for themselves, the government, their business, their clients. They work for their freaking cell phone. Every time this freaking thing rings, you jump. It's like Pavlov's conditioning theory, right? It's like when the bell rings, like this thing is conditioned to make you jump. And I tell people all the time, there's an exception to every rule. If you're paying for online leads, I can understand why you want to pick up the phone every time it rings, right? But set a special ring for Zillow or whatever you're buying from realtor.com. So you know, like a bat signal, it's a bat phone ringing, it's money, answer the call, right? I know when I was an agent and I bought online leads, that's what I did. So every time the phone rang, I didn't have to stop what I'm doing, right? Ping, right? You get an email. Ding, you get a text message. Ring, your phone rings. And every time you're like, oh my God, my clients are calling me. I got to get back to my client. Your client signed a 6-month listing agreement with you. They can't fire you. There's a legal contract there, right? And the flip side of this is you did a shitty job laying out the expectations. There's no communication plan. They don't know when they're going to hear from you again. Market updates, showing feedback, right? What's going on in the market. We'll post the communication plan in our members portal so you guys all have one that you can use, right? So start thinking about this, right? Hit yes and be honest if every time the phone rings, you stop what you're doing and you go to answer your phone. It's built to be addictive, right? And if you don't believe me, watch The Social Dilemma. How many people are being honest, Rachel?
Heidi says no. Allie, yes. Marlena, yes. Justin, no. Colleen, yes. Debbie, Carla, yes.
Heidi, win. Justin, I expected that from you. Justin's like a military soldier in his business. Focus, clarity.
Needs to hear the message.
Listen, guys, for any of you that were 24-hour fans of my buddy Jack Bauer, one of my favorite shows of all time, the clock's like doot, 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 doot. And at the end of 24 hours, something really bad was going to happen. We're not in 24. You're not Jack Bauer. This is not time sensitive. There are far and few things that are really time sensitive. Highest and best offers, right? Certain things when new properties come on the market with our clients. But this is why we get to a certain point in our business, we need leverage. So if you want to see what distractions look like, meet Fran, right? Like we all know Fran. This is what distractions look like. Wait, where'd it go? It's not staying up.
You got to go back one slide.
Ping, ding, ring. Is Fran here today?
No, she's not.
I think she hit out on us on purpose.
Oh, there you go.
Well, her slide does not want to stay up for whatever reason.
That's probably her, you know.
But look, this is Rachel's experience, right? Like no matter what happened, her phone would ring and she would answer it. So whether Fran was on the beach for a walk, at the pool, driving in the car, Rachel's holding the phone or she's on her phone. The thing that I wanted to go and share with you guys, if you look in, Fran, we all know her, is like a radiant ball of joy, right? She's as happy could be. But if you look at the faces of Fran on there, she really is not that happy, right? Because you know what? When you're sitting there reacting to your phone all day, that is not a fun life, right? Then here's the next part about this. Prioritizing versus urgent versus non-urgent, right? Like really, I encourage everyone to sit down, and if you have an accountability partner or you're on a team, I would reach out to them and do this together. What are really the urgent things in real estate, right? How many of those really exist, right? Like ER emergency, something bad's going to happen, and so on and so forth, right? So I want you to realize that every time your phone rings, your email goes off, and everything else, everything is not urgent. Everything doesn't have to be a fire drill, right? And if you're doing that and you have staff and team members, they will not like you and they'll never get anything done. Because every time you do this, you're going to have to stop what they're doing to do something that you feel is urgent. A lot of times, our form of urgent is based on a lack of planning, which means you had a lack of clarity, and that can all be fixed really quickly, right? So I ask you, as your day goes on and all these distractions come, ask yourself today, what's urgent versus what's not urgent, right? Like, and that's a really big thing about focus. People that are extremely focused, and I'll share this, it's like, when I worked at Compass with Rory, he's the most focused person I've ever met in my life, right? Like if it's not like priority or urgent, he's just not doing it, right? And I remember how many times that he would say, we don't need to do this, don't focus on this, do it like, and I'm like, what's this guy talking about? And then I learned those were all learnings that I had that infinitely made me a better person, a better leader, a better coach, a better person, a better husband, right? Because look, the whole thing is, and I'll tie this back to what I said in the beginning, think about how much time in our actual lives we lose because we're not focused, because we're not organized, we don't plan, we don't think things are urgent, right? You can't be productive if you're not focused, right? Focus and clarity equals moving fast, right? If you're extremely focused, you're extremely clear on what you need to do, then you can go fast. If you're not, it's just not going to happen, right? So if somebody had an accident happen and you have not been focused, you have not been prioritizing, how would you really feel in that moment, right? So here's a simple solution that I wanted to give everybody. Get into the 3-tab game. What's the 3-tab game? The 3-tab game is when you're doing something, don't have more than 3 tabs open at once. The people that have 2 web browsers, this incognito browser and all that stuff, this is the bane of your existence. I see Rachel's a funny face. Unless, there's a caveat, unless you're actually doing research on a project, right? Don't be a tab hoarder, guys. That's my new phrase that I'm going to coin. Every one of you are all tab hoarders. And when I say you, I mean real estate agents. I look at people's screens when they share them. I'm like, do you have like a million gigabytes of RAM? No, my computer runs really slow. It makes it hard for me to do things quickly. No kidding, because you have 800 windows open, right? Like the 3-tab game is, unless you're doing research, don't have more than 3 tabs open at once. If you're working on a project or something, don't have your email open all day long while you do everything. You will be distracted. So I encourage everyone between this week and next week to watch The Social Dilemma so they could understand how these platforms are created and how they're meant to be distracting. From social networks to email to the dopamine that gets shot to your brain every time a like is done, right? Like it's crazy. Don't battle science. And after the 3-tab game, we talked about how we can get better every day, right? The 10-minute business plan. Ask yourself these 3 questions, write them down at the end of every day. What income producing activities did I accomplish today? That does not mean making collections, taking your clients out. Income producing activities is reaching out to your past clients, sending out handwritten notes, things you're doing to create business that you don't have today, right? If someone's in a conversation with you about buying or selling, it doesn't count in bucket 1. Number 2, what distractions got in the way, right? We need to be really present to the fact of what is holding us back, right? I answered my email. I answered my phone every time it rang. Like my team member came here, said, got a minute, and it was a 45-minute conversation, right? And number 3, what will I do differently tomorrow? So if you're going to go ahead and do this, you write these 3 things down at the end of the day, because when you're sitting there at 6, 7 o'clock with your to-do list and you want to go home and you're wondering why you can't leave and there's still all these things, what's on these 3 questions is the essence to growth. Then what I want you to do is the following morning before you start work, go through your morning routine, read your 10-minute business plan. If you see it into income producing activities, you better pick up the phone and prospect. When you understand what distractions that got in the way and what commitments you'll make tomorrow to be differently, I guarantee you will not want to look at the same distraction more than 5 or 6 times, because it's going to be not in an ocean. It's going to be like a boulder in your hand, right? Even a boulder in an ocean feels like nothing. But if you have to hold that boulder, look at that boulder, it gets heavy. You see the size and everything every day. Now, this is the essence of what we want you guys to focus on, right? So, look, I hope everyone takes this opportunity to be a little more mindful of their time, their schedules, and their productivity. I also realize that by not being focused, the things that you actually go to work for that you want to do when you earn money, you don't spend any time doing. Right? So, look, let's all take this up as an opportunity. In my mind, perfect what success would look like between this week and next week is a bunch of you guys sharing with us, one, where you get clarity in your business, right? Number two, that you actually blocked off some of your schedule, right? Ideally up till 12 o'clock, if not do it till 10 o'clock. And number three, that you do this 10-minute business plan every single day for the rest of your life, right? If you're not constantly looking to improve yourself, how are you ever going to grow? Right? So that's my message. Thank you guys for the warm wishes. Thank you for being present. I'm excited to go through our contest tomorrow and share the numbers and our learnings. And somebody's getting a $250 gift card tomorrow. So thank you guys, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Rachel.
Bye, everyone. Have a great day.